You've checked your bank account more than once today, not because you're excited, because you're scared. That low-grade financial anxiety, the one that follows you into every decision, it has a name. It's called survival mode. And survival mode is not a personality flaw. It's what happens when your bank account teaches your brain to fear. Most financial advice starts at the wrong place. It tells you to invest, diversify, build wealth. But you can't think about wealth when you're just trying to survive. Before you have $20,000 saved, every financial decision is reactive. You don't choose where your money goes, emergencies do. Think about the last time something broke, a car, a phone, an appliance. That wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a financial ambush. And here's the cruel irony. When you have no buffer, every emergency costs more. You borrow at high interest, you miss work, you make panic decisions. Poverty is expensive. That sentence should stop you cold. The less money you have, the more everything costs you. That is the trap. You pay more for car insurance because of your zip code, more for groceries because you can't buy in bulk, more in bank fees because your balance drops below a minimum. This isn't bad luck. This is a system, and understanding it is the first step to escaping it.
So, when did things start to shift for you? There was a moment, maybe you haven't named it yet, when you said, "This has to change." For some people, it's the bill they couldn't pay. For others, it's watching someone else live without that fear. Either way, something snapped. And here's what nobody tells you about the decision to save. It isn't about motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It's about engineering your behavior. Willpower runs out by Thursday, but a $200 automatic transfer on payday, that doesn't need willpower. It just happens. The psychology of saving is this. If you see the money, you spend the money. The solution is to never see it. This is called paying yourself first, and it sounds cliché because everyone says it, but almost nobody actually does it structurally. Most people save what's left after spending. Wealthy people spend what's left after saving. That one sentence is the entire difference in financial trajectory. And the target, $20,000, isn't arbitrary, it's strategic. It represents roughly 3 to 6 months of living expenses for most earners. It's a psychological firewall. Below $20,000, your brain runs on scarcity logic. Above it, your brain can finally access abundance thinking. This is neuroscience, not motivation. Scarcity thinking makes you impulsive. It shortens your time horizon. You take bad deals because you need cash now. Abundance thinking lets you wait for better. Let's talk about the actual climb to $20,000. Because nobody talks honestly about how hard the first $5,000 is. The first $5,000 takes the longest, not because of math, but because your habits haven't caught up to your intentions yet. You'll save $400, then your car needs tires. You save $600, then you have a bad month. This is normal. This is not failure. This is the process. The dangerous moment is when you feel like the savings is there and you start treating it like it's available. That's the silent savings killer. Your savings account needs to feel unreachable. Different bank, no debit card attached. A small psychological barrier changes everything. Here's a tactic that changes saving forever. Name your savings account. Freedom Fund, Security Wall, whatever it means to you. Suddenly, it's not just money, because money without a story is easy to spend. Money with a purpose attached becomes almost impossible to touch. So what is your $20,000 for? Not the right answer, your answer. Freedom from a job you hate? Sleep without fear? That's your fuel. Lifestyle inflation is the silent thief that steals your savings before they ever start. You get a raise, and somehow you're still broke. You upgrade the apartment, the car lease gets nicer, the dinners get more expensive. Each upgrade feels deserved, and each one delays your financial freedom by years.
And then the day arrives. You check your account, and it reads $20,000. And the feeling is not what you expected. It doesn't feel like winning the lottery. It feels like exhaling for the first time in years. Because $20,000 isn't just money.
It's time. It's options. It's the psychological ability to say no to things that don't serve you. Before this milestone, you say yes to overtime because you have to. After it, you can afford to think about whether you want to. This is the moment your relationship with your employer changes. Scarcity made you a hostage. Savings makes you a participant with leverage. Think about the career risks you didn't take because you couldn't afford 3 months without income. That's not risk aversion. That's financial captivity. With $20,000 in reserve, you could leave a toxic job, start a side project, take a calculated risk. The math changes. The psychology changes first. But here's the mistake most people make the moment they hit 20K. They stop. They treat it like the finish line. It's not. It's the starting line. The $20,000 emergency fund is the foundation. Now you build the house, and the tools you use from this point are completely different. Your next dollar of savings should not go into a savings account. It should start working for you. There is a massive difference between money sitting and money moving. This is the concept that makes wealthy people wealthy and breaks everyone else's heart when they finally understand it. Compound interest. Money that earns returns on its returns. Not just your money growing, your growth growing. It bends time, it breaks math, and most people never experience it. Albert Einstein allegedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he said it or not, the math proves him right. $10,000 invested at 8% annual return becomes $100,000 in 30 years. You didn't earn 100K. You earned 90K while sleeping. But compound interest has a dark twin, compound debt. Credit card balances at 24% APR compound against you with the same ruthless math. If you carry $5,000 in credit card debt for 10 years at 22% APR, you will pay back more than $14,000. You borrowed 5K. The bank earned 9K from you while you slept. This is why the sequence matters. Before you invest, before you save beyond 20K, eliminate high-interest debt. That 22% guaranteed return beats the stock market every time. The financial order of operations is not complicated, but almost no one follows it. Emergency fund, high-interest debt, retirement accounts, investing, wealth building. Most people skip step 1 and step 2. They invest in crypto while carrying credit card debt. The math on that is catastrophic, and the feeling of doing something is a psychological trap. Discipline in the order of operations is what separates people who look financially active from people who are financially progressive. Now, let's talk about the biggest psychological barrier to wealth that your savings unlocks: the fear of investing. Fear of investing is not a character flaw. It is a rational response to never having had enough money to risk. But now you do. The psychology must update. The biggest investing mistake is waiting for the right time. The stock market's best days are invisible in advance. Missing the 10 best days in a decade can cut your returns in half. Time in the market beats timing the market. Not sometimes, statistically, always. Over every 20-year period in U.S. stock market history, every single one, markets have been positive. You don't need to pick stocks. Index funds exist. Low-cost, diversified funds that track the entire market. Warren Buffett recommends them for most people. That's not irony, that's wisdom. The difference between the person who invested $300 a month from age 25 and the person who started at 35 at age 65 is over $500,000. The decade of delay costs more than any bad investment. Starting at 25 versus 35 with $300 a month at 8% return, age 65 balance, early starter, $933,000. Late starter, $408,000. The gap isn't disciplined, it's time. And the cruelest part of delayed investing? The money you would have invested didn't disappear. You spent it. Every month of delay is a choice, whether you recognized it as one or not. But here's the psychological antidote. You cannot change yesterday. You can only start today. And today, with 20K as your foundation, you are in a better starting position than 70% of people your age. Not better than everyone, better than where you were. That's the only comparison that matters in personal finance. Here's what the $20,000 actually proves. And this is more important than the number itself. It proves you have the habits. Anyone can inherit money. Anyone can get lucky. But the person who built 20K from nothing, they have something money can't buy. A proven system. Consistency over intensity. The person who saves $300 every month for 5 years beats the person who saves $5,000 in January and nothing in February. Your brain is a habit machine, not a willpower machine. The financial behaviors you automate today are the ones that compound into wealth tomorrow. Tracking your spending is one of the highest leverage habits you can build. Not to feel guilty, but to see reality clearly. You can't improve what you can't see. Most people are shocked to discover where their money actually goes versus where they think it goes. This gap between perceived and actual spending is where money dies. The latte factor is real, but it's not just lattes. It's the subscription you forgot about, the app you don't use, the habit you never questioned. You're not being asked to give up everything good. You're being asked to be intentional. Spend on what matters. Stop spending on what doesn't. The most powerful budgeting system is the one you actually use. Whether it's a spreadsheet, an app, or the envelope method, consistency is the feature. Complexity is the enemy. Wealthy people aren't smarter about money. They're more consistent. They review their finances monthly. They catch problems early. They adjust without drama. Now let's go deeper into the psychology of money. Because the real reason most people stay broke isn't income, it's identity. Your financial identity, the story you tell yourself about money, was probably written before you were 12 years old, by your parents, by your neighborhood, by what you saw. We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. If you heard these phrases growing up, they became your financial operating system. You can't upgrade your finances until you audit your beliefs. What do you actually think money is? A source of stress? A tool? A score? Your answer shapes every decision. People who see money as a tool use it strategically. People who see money as a source of identity spend it to signal worth. People who see money as evil avoid having it. The scarcity mindset doesn't just affect spending, it affects earning. People who believe there's never enough often subconsciously sabotage income opportunities. Imposter syndrome in finance is real. The moment your savings starts to grow, a voice says, "You don't know what you're doing. You're going to lose it all." That voice is a survival mechanism, not wisdom. The antidote isn't confidence, it's competence. Learn one concept at a time. Emergency fund, index fund, tax-advantaged accounts. Build knowledge in the same sequence you build money. Every time you make a good financial decision, you're not just moving money, you're rewriting your financial identity. Slowly, your brain starts believing, "I am someone who handles money well." And that identity shift, that quiet belief update, is worth more than any specific investment strategy. Because strategies change, identity compounds. So you've hit 20K. You've built the habit, you've rewired the belief. Now, what's the actual next move? First, if you have an employer 401k with matching, that match is a 50 to 100% instant return on your money. Not investing in it is leaving free money on the table, literally. After the employer match, consider a Roth IRA. Your money grows tax-free. Not tax-deferred, tax-free. You pay tax now on small dollars to avoid tax later on large ones. The Roth IRA contribution limit is $7,000 per year as of 2024. That's $583 per month. If you start at 25, that $7,000 per year becomes over $1.8 million at retirement at 8% return. After tax-advantaged accounts are maxed, brokerage account, index funds,
Low-cost ETFs. Real estate if you understand it. Business ownership if you have the edge. Real estate as a wealth-building tool is powerful, but it's not passive. It's a second job with tax benefits. Don't romanticize it. Understand it before you enter. The real estate wealth builder's equation. Rental income greater than mortgage plus expenses plus vacancy rate. If the math works on paper with conservative numbers, it might work in real life. But let's be honest. Most first-time real estate investors lose money the first time because they overcalculate income and undercalculate costs. Optimism is expensive in property. Business ownership is the highest risk, highest reward path. It's also where most millionaires in the world came from. But the statistic nobody says out loud: 20% of small businesses fail in year 1, 50% by year 5. The answer is not to avoid the risk. The answer is to never take a risk that destroys your foundation. Your 20K emergency fund is non-negotiable. Never risk it on a business idea.
Let's zoom out, because financial freedom, real freedom, is not a number, it's a ratio. It's the day your passive income exceeds your expenses. Financial independence is measured by FIRE number. Financial independence retire early. Your annual expenses times 25 equals the portfolio size needed to live indefinitely off returns. This is called the 4% rule. A well-diversified portfolio can safely distribute 4% annually without depleting itself. Historically, your 20K is the first brick in that foundation. But here's the thing about FIRE. Most people don't want to stop working. They want to stop being forced to work. That's a completely different goal, and 20K starts moving you toward it. The goal is optionality, the freedom to decide, to say yes because you want to say no because you can afford to. That's what money is actually for. And the people who get there are not exceptional. They're consistent. They're patient. They made a series of small, correct decisions, made them boring, reliable, and relentless. Here's a truth that should change how you see every financial decision from this point forward. Every dollar you spend today has a future value. $1 today at 8% is $10.06 in 30 years. That $60 dinner out isn't $60. In a universe where you invested, it's $604 in 30 years. You're not avoiding dinner, you're making a conscious trade. That's wisdom, not deprivation. The financial freedom journey is not about suffering now to enjoy later. It's about being conscious now so you have choices later. There's a difference, and it matters. So here's where we are. You understand survival mode. You understand what $20,000 actually unlocks. You understand compound growth, investing psychology, and identity. But knowing isn't enough. The gap between knowing and doing is where financial dreams go to die. And closing that gap requires one thing: your next concrete action. Not a list of 50 things, one thing. Open a high-yield savings account today if you don't have one. Transfer $100 if you can. The momentum matters more than the amount. Because the person who waits for the perfect plan never starts. The person who starts with an imperfect action, they arrive. Your $20,000 isn't just savings, it's proof. Proof that you changed. Proof that you can continue. Proof that the version of you who lived in survival mode is not the final version. The money will grow. The habits will compound. The identity will solidify. And one day, not so far from now, you'll check your account and realize you are no longer surviving. You are building.